we're back here with Mary, and she's now going to tell us a little bit about her time leaving her hometown of Cambridge to go to Carleton College and eventually to New York. Do you want to tell us about that, Mary?
Well, in 1961, my folks took me to Carleton College. I picked it out because it was really good academic school. Ted Bergstrom, who was very, very smart and about 3 years older than I, had gone there. So I was very excited about going there. I started as a physics major, and I had already done two years of college science while I was in high school. I'd gone to St. Olaf the summer before my senior year and the summer after and gotten A's there. So I had a little bit of advanced standing and enjoyed Carleton, but I didn't like the science there. So I got really interested in religion and social justice and world religions and philosophy. So I studied those subjects and had a very good experience with them. And then when it was time to think about graduating, my grades were good enough that I could consider any of the good divinity schools in the country. And I was admitted to Harvard, Yale, University of Chicago, and Union, and decided to go to Harvard because it would be the biggest adventure. So when the September of 1968 came, my parents and my brother drove me out in our 1958 Chevrolet Delray pink and white two-tone car. We arrived in the middle of Harvard, very Tony.
So 68 you started or 68 you ended?
I'm sorry, 65.
Okay.
65 I started. And I couldn't understand anybody because they all had Boston accents, but I soon learned how to understand them and lived in the women's housing area, which was on the third floor of the dean's house, and got into the classes, which were horribly difficult, but I decided they must be for everybody, so I just threw myself into it. And
what made them difficult?
As we got going, we read 150 pages of new material every afternoon and reviewed 150 pages every evening and worked part-time. And I worked the first year part-time at the Massachusetts Attorney General's office, and then Peter Van Briggen the first year in the Massachusetts Attorney General's office, that's the second year, and Massachusetts Mental Health the third year to learn, and those two hospitals were to learn chaplaincy skills. So those work experiences were good, and my grades were fine, and I decided to get involved in student government. And I ran for president and won, and Peter Gomes was the vice president.
Now, wasn't there something kind of pretty special about that? Were you the... Go ahead. Sorry.
I was the first woman president for the student government.
Now, did you realize at the time that was important, or...?
I thought it was sort of interesting.
Okay.
And I think we had the best student government. It's so organized that we got changes. We were able to accomplish changes in the requirements for graduation. We had a very active social action team and arranged buses to Washington to protest the Vietnam War. We had Peter Gomes was head of the worship committee. We had stellar worship experiences.
And who was Peter Gomes?
He went on to become chaplain to Harvard University and a best-selling author. And he died a couple of years ago.
Okay.
So I graduated from there. Peter and I were marshal and co-marshal of which are leadership awards for our graduating class. And from there I went on to New York.
We'll stop there. That's great. Thank you, Mom.